How are we doing today? Push the mic a little bit farther back so I'm not so loud. Um, yes. Welcome to False Opinions, episode 2. The podcast where I talk about everything and nothing at the same time. Yeah, how's everyone doing? I already said that, but I said it again. So yeah, episode 2, that means, I decided to make more of these, so, yeah. What did I say I was going to talk about last time? There was 2 things I said I was going to talk about last time. I said I was going to talk about, anime. Oh yeah, I was going to talk about, 90s animation, and I was going to talk about, the Shrek reboot, or sequel, or whatever you want to call it. I guess the first thing I'll talk about is 90s animation, right? I want to talk about this because I recently watched a movie. I've actually watched a couple movies over the past 2 weeks or so. And they were from the 90s and early 2000s. And it just got me thinking about how animation has evolved over the past, I don't know, since the 90s. It's been, since, 90, it's been 28 years. So, this probably won't be a super long topic. It's just something I wanted to point out. And something that I find interesting. I don't know how many people out there will, but the whole how animation has changed and evolved, and how some say it's gotten better, some say it's gotten too it's kind of diluted a little bit. I think you can definitely make the case for that. You could say a lot of it looks the same, but it depends on your view, I guess. So if we're going back to some older stuff, we have Pokemon. Pokemon debuted in 90. When did Pokemon debut? I think it debuted in the late 90s, maybe super early 2000s. I could be completely wrong though. I don't know. Let's see. Logo. Yeah. I just want to find the show, My Dude. Just find me the show, My Dude. Anime series, yeah. 97, yeah, so I was right, late 90s. Started in 97, so we can look at the style. Come on, just go back. We go to images. If I click on it, that'd be great. Shoot. Let's do season 1. Yeah, so, we look at something like here, or maybe this is bigger, it's slightly bigger. We just look at the kind of stuff that kind of looks like now, where, the shadows aren't as prominent, the colors aren't as, give me all tiny ass pictures for, the hell. The colors are there, but, it kind of reminds me of if you ever look at chalk, like a pastel or whatever, kind of looks like that, where it's not super, the colors aren't crisp. You know what I'm saying? It looks very flat. It looks very it kind of looks like they were running out of ink. You ever run out of ink, but you still gotta fill in everything, so it's not as deep as you would like it to be. The colors aren't as deep as you like them to be. And we look at some other stuff, some other older stuff. We look at stuff like Sailor Moon. That's how that same thing going. Such tiny pictures. I don't have a setting on, do I? Yeah, so we just look at stuff like that, and it's just again, it looks very flat. The shadows are there, but it's all mainly just one shadow. It's with shadows, that's not how shadows work in real life. They're they're very gradient in real life, and this is just kind of like a block. It just doesn't help adding to a whole lot of depth We got Cowboy Bebop. I think I wanted to do as well. Cowboy Bebop is better, which I think that's because Cowboy Bebop came out later than these two. I'm not sure though. Hold on. Let me look up when season 1 came out. It says 2001. Yeah, so 2000. Oh, 98. That's probably when it came out in Japan. 98. No, why did it say 98? Because this is saying 01. I'm just going to say 01. If that's wrong, that's wrong. I don't care. I have the internet at my fingertips. And it's telling me 2 different days. This is 98. So my, 98, whatever. So that must be when it came out in Japan, and then it came over later. Which kind of makes sense because stuff like anime back then took a little longer to come over here, which nowadays we have it coming out an hour after it airs in Japan. So, but yeah. So I just want to, this is the kind of animation that it hurts me. It honestly does. Yeah, it hurts me to watch stuff like this because it's probably because you're like spoiled by 2018 stuff and the kind of technology, the kind of like the different the way they've like I would say the way they perfected it, but I wouldn't say it's perfected. I would just say that it's gotten a lot cleaner. It's gotten a lot it's just kind of like taking its own. It's just like taking its own form, its own shape, as to what it is now. Whereas I think back then they were definitely trying to go for a very realistic type of like proportions and the way people kind of really look in real life. Like this right here is great. Like his face right here is awesome, and it's a lot sharper. It's a lot more rugged. We have like the sharp. We have with the eyebrows, the eyes. Even like the hairlines are very. You know what I mean? Which again, this is one show, and every show can have different styles, but I think that was pretty much the norm for back then. Whereas we go a little bit further down the line. Like something like, I don't know why I put Naruto on here. I have no idea when Naruto even came out. I feel like it came out after all this. I mean, it kind of does look newer. You know what I mean? The shadows are better. I mean, right here we see 2 shadows right here, which is awesome. Which makes stuff look better, more 3D, all that stuff. And then which is the stuff I really wanted to show you, which was stuff that came out super recent. We look at something like Darling in the Franxx, and just like the style of everything, and like the shadows for me are one of the biggest things. Is like how they place the shadows as well, and like how crisp everything is, and how like this is a bad picture because this is right as the shadow is hitting, but like man, if I can just find a better picture. Something like this, maybe. I just like how the colors, they're a lot more saturated. They're a lot more, well, saturated might not be the right word, but they just have like, they're just a lot more full, a lot more deep than they were, and the lines, the edges aren't as sharp as they used to be in shows like Cowboy Bebop or Pokemon, or and I really think that was one of the biggest problems with the older animation, is that that's just kind of the style they went with. I think that around those times it was trying to be very realistic. It was trying to be very like, it's kind of like how I just thought of this right now. It kind of reminds me of how which is probably a bad example for what my point is, but how like pretty much up until the Dark Knight, the Batman Begins, Dark Knight, and Dark Knight Rises, all the Batman movies were very like, they were very comic booky. They were very like the colors were very kind of like out of place. They were very like it was like a lot more fun, you know. And then up until the Christopher Nolan series, it was very serious, it was very dark, it was very edgy, it was very like realistic. It was trying to be like more grounded, more like this is what it should be, even though it doesn't, it's not as bright, it's not as vibrant, it's not as easy on the eyes. Like it's like this is what it should be. So that's what kind of reminds me of animation, where back then it was very I know in Dragon Ball Z, that kind of thing, like that stuff came out forever ago, and there's like the joke where you can always tell what part of the terrain is about to get destroyed, because the entire background, the earth, whatever they're standing on or whatever they're fighting around, is all like that one flat, very very flat and very like kind of pale brown or gray, or whatever color the earth is that they're fighting on. And then there'll be like one little piece of it that's like super deep and very and stands out a lot, and they definitely put a lot more work into that piece because they're about to animate it, which is something that I think kind of doesn't happen anymore, because they found a way to just be like, well, instead of doing that, like now we can just make everything look the same, everything will be deep, everything will be vibrant, everything will match, everything will look as if it could be interacted with, and that helps with like the immersion of the show and the story and everything like that. Something like this is a great picture right here, where like the eyes actually look 3D. They actually look like they're real eyes, and instead of, again, it might be a bad example, but we go back to Pokemon, which is just like, oh damn it. Well, I guess this works. I didn't mean to click on Misty, but I guess it works. Which is, oh damn it, small ash pictures, my dude. And you just look at this, it's like, wow, this is clearly, and the like shape of it, the shape of her eyes don't help, but it's just very flat. Like they're trying to trick you into believing that this is like a 3D image. I mean, obviously that's their job. That's the job of anyone who makes a cartoon with people and is trying to make you believe that these are real people. But they're trying to trick you with like the lightness right here, and then the shadow, and then the huge highlight and everything like that. But it doesn't work as well as something like this. Oh, I lost the picture. That is fantastic. It's down here, yeah, right here. Or something like this, you know what I mean? Where there's just like where the highlights are, and then the shadow on this eye right here, and then where the source light is, and how like intense it is and everything like that. So yeah, like another thing, I feel like I'm rambling at this point, but another thing that kind of separates like newer stuff versus older stuff is again, I feel like a lot of older stuff looks the same. Like a lot of people can argue nowadays stuff looks the same. It's all very it's very round, it's very soft, it's very, it kind of has the same patterns when it comes to the shadows and the highlights. Just like the like proportions are very similar nowadays, but I definitely feel like there's a lot more experimentation when it comes to newer stuff, because again, I feel like older stuff, I definitely feel like all older stuff looks the same, whether it has to do with not only the vibrancy, I don't know if that's a real word, but the vibrancy of the colors, but also the color palette themselves. How it's just very like drowned out, I feel like, in older stuff, and also I feel like they were trying to go for like realistic proportions, especially when it comes to like the face. Like they're trying to be realistic with like the way the shape of like the nose or the chin or whatever is in older stuff, but I feel like it was always off just a little bit, which like caused the whole thing to look weird. And I also think they took way more shortcuts back then. but that's, they took way more shortcuts back then, which also makes sense because, back in the day they had to do everything by hand. Whereas as the years have gone on, more and more stuff gets computer, so we're mostly everything here is computer animated, you know what I mean? Only freaking Miyazaki is still doing stuff and is just now starting to learn computer, to do his like animation stuff with computers. But like I said, I definitely feel like there's more like experimentation that can go on, like the evolution of 3D animation, which is usually something that I don't favor, but some shows can, well the reason I usually don't favor it is because I feel like most 3D stuff looks awful. It doesn't look awful, it just looks really out of place, especially when they don't go all out and they mix 2D and 3D, because then the 3D, like the 2D is very easy to get right, because you can cut a lot of corners when you do 2D and still make it look really good. But with 3D, you have to a lot more effort into it because it's an actual like model, you know what I mean? And like the weight and stuff, I feel like when you approach the weight of a character or an object, it's different in 3D and 2D, depending on which one. But this show right here, I've actually been watching. This show came out like last year, I think, something like that. And I'm just now watching it. I'm like halfway through it, I think, maybe a little more than halfway. And this show does 3D, and that was one thing that kind of turned me off from watching it in the beginning. But when you just look at it, it just looks amazing. Like how it actually looks like it's like crystal or gem or whatever you want to call it. And like they still do use like 2D elements in this show. Like I just watched an episode. It was this episode actually. And it had like snow everywhere, and I don't want to go too much into the show. I should stop scrolling down, because the show is relatively new. It's like a year, maybe old or whatever. I don't know if there's any real spoilers in this section I'm looking at right now. I don't think so. Because like her like breaking herself happens in like episode 1. We find out that she sucks and she's super soft. But yeah, I just watched an episode where there's like snow everywhere. It's winter. funny enough. And they actually the snow for like their like traveling scenes was all 2D. It actually went a step further and it looked like it was all painted. Which no, I don't think that they like hand painted it, but it was like in the style of a painting, which on paper I feel like shouldn't work, where your background is painted or like has like the brush strokes effect on it, you know what I mean? And then your models are 3D, but it just looked so good. And it's like that's something that I don't think they would have ever tried to do in the 80s and 90s, but doing it now and being able to like just like craft it in a way that it all comes together and people are willing to accept that nowadays. I feel like that might have to do with it as well, where people, a couple decades, like 2 or 3 decades ago weren't willing to accept that kind of thing because they're like, that just doesn't make sense. It doesn't look good. It's not how it's supposed to look. We have a show. I didn't click on the search bar. We have a show called Pop Team Epic, which is a show that I can't spell apparently. That I haven't watched yet, but I do plan to. And it is a show where it looks like this, which is super flat. It's super like Flash animation, which is usually an animation that I hate, but they do it in such like an ironic way, and they also add in a bunch of different kinds of animation styles too. I can't find them on here though, but like they like go in and out of different animation styles throughout the show, like all the way from this super flat 3D Flash to they actually do like live action segments, which like I guess has no place in a live action or animation discussion, but again with the whole experimentation part of it, where like they're able to do this because they're in an environment that lets them do it, which is, again, this is something that I don't think would have flown back in the day. I'm watching a show. Fuck, I keep forgetting to hit the search bar. I don't know what the hell it's called. Bookstore. Yeah, I've only watched the first episode of this, and they're half episodes too, so I don't know why I haven't finished this yet. But like something like this, where this is another very flat. It's like almost like puppet animation, almost. I'm not sure if that's how they did it, but it's almost that, and like the attention to detail is still pretty astounding. Like it kind of reminds me of something that would be shown on like Adult Swim or something, where like it's like oddly super high detailed, like in terms of like fine details, but like it's also puppet, you know what I mean? And then we have something like the last one I have on my list is Devilman Crybaby. Devilman Crybaby. If you've ever seen this show, I'm not gonna scroll down anymore because I don't want spoilers, but Devilman Crybaby is another show that like it's very, well, the story's good, but it's one of those shows that like it kind of dips in and out of different styles almost, because like it can go to like super dark, super like, this is the title card, I guess, it's kind of flat, there are shadows, obviously, it's not completely Flash, but like it like goes from super detail, these like all these creatures and whatever, to like, the a reoccurring setting in the show is school, and it's like super like flat pastel, like super blown out almost style, and I'm just trying, when I picked a bunch of these shows that I was gonna try to show you, different like stills from or whatever. I was trying to pick a bunch of shows that's a tiny picture, a bunch of shows that I don't even know what this is from. This is from Devil May Cry. I don't even know when in the show this is from. I don't remember that at all. A bunch of shows that had different, like art styles, different kind of experimental ones, because again, this is, probably my whole point is that like newer animation is superior in every way. Older stuff I think just looks super flat. I mean, I love what the older stuff did to be able to bring us to where we are today, with it trying to be like almost hyper realistic, with it trying to be like, with like it being very pointy and very the shadows are very, they're placed in a very particular way, and they're almost like doubled on top of each other to force you to see this as 3D. And to where it is now, to how far we've gone today, where the colors are a lot deeper, they're a lot more vibrant, the palettes are more diverse, everything flows together, I feel like that was another downside of the way of their technology back then, where a lot of it seemed very choppy, and I'm not talking about like the frame rate or anything, I'm just talking about like the way the different colors would, the different colors they would use would clash with each other. It just made a lot of the scenes very choppy and very like, I don't really feel like this fits together. But yeah, I don't know where else to go with this. That's all I wanted to say. I just wanted to, any people out there who appreciate animation, art styles, that kind of thing, the evolution of it, where it came from, where it is today, and how it's changed, and how I would say it's definitely changed for the better. Not only the art itself, but also the increase in diversity of just the entire industry. Where again, everything kind of looked vaguely similar, especially with the character styles and the color palettes. Whereas now today, shows look obviously shows look completely different back then, but it's just way different today. Yeah, so that's kind of where I wanted to go with that. I felt like that was me rambling for 20 minutes, but hopefully some people out there appreciated it. And definitely if anyone is out there that loves the old style, like from the 80s and 90s, please let me know, because it's very difficult for me to watch shows back then, from back in that time. it's just everything looks really like flat and like flat, and they were cutting a lot of corners, which both those things I understand completely as to why they were doing it. But now, coming up now and watching anime from 2018, it's just like, it's just not the same, you know? But yeah, that's kind of all I want to talk about there. I talked about it even for a little too long. I feel like I dragged that out just a little longer than I wanted it to be, but hopefully you all understood what I was trying to say, and let me know if you agree or disagree on any of those points, you know. Yeah, the next thing is something that I have. I don't quite know what to think about this next thing. This is the Shrek reboot, right? Now it got announced. I saw this on Twitter actually, and I thought it was fake. I thought it was like an Onion article or something like that, where it's like, oh, new Shrek, haha. But apparently, that would be fucking insane. So yeah, this is the original article, I'm pretty sure, the Variety one. And basically, I'm not gonna go through the whole article, I already know what it says. But basically, the Illumination people, I'm pretty sure it was Illumination, because people who made Despicable Me, and the person who made Despicable Me started Illumination. Like, that was the whole thing. Yeah, whose Illumination company is owned by Universal, so it makes sense because they're all under Universal, I guess. Like DreamWorks or whatever, because DreamWorks got bought by Comcast, I guess. Anyway, I think it first came out that this was that Shrek. If you don't know what Shrek is, it's the freaking this right here. Shrek has 4 movies out, and Shrek was a franchise that was one movie, and Shrek 1 was pretty good. And then 2, 3, and 4 came out, and we're like, all right, we don't. Most people were like, I don't know if we needed all that, but sure, make your money, it's fine. And that's been quiet for a while with the Shrek franchise, and this came out saying that they're going to reboot it, as well as Puss in Boots, which is weird to me because there's only one Puss in Boots movie, so like it's just weird to me for a reboot of something that there's only one of. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know of any other, like if they rebooted Inception. Like, there's only one Inception movie. What do you mean reboot it? Just, like, make another one. You know what I mean? Like, even if it's with different actors in a different, world where Inception didn't exist, where this is a brand new movie, they're like, yeah, but you're not really rebooting it. There's only one. Like, rebooting something to me is like, there was a chain, and now you're like, all right, cut that chain out. We're bringing it back up. You know what I mean? Like, let's reboot Doctor Strange. It's like, well, there's only been one Doctor Strange movie. Well, what do you mean reboot it? Just make another one and call it Doctor Strange. Just say, all right, this is new. This is different. You know what I mean? But yeah, so this is getting rebooted. There's also people out there that are taking this as it's actually not a reboot, it's a sequel, so it's Shrek 5. But I don't know about that, because if they're I'm not quite sure what makes a reboot, because on one hand you could just say, oh, if they're continuing the story, then it's a sequel, right? But if they come out with Shrek and it has an all new animation style, like it look completely different. Well, not completely different. I mean, like some similarities, like Shrek is still green, he's still an ogre and all that stuff. But if that's completely different art style, it's like, well, would that count as a reboot too? Because it looks completely different. You know what I mean? But yeah, whether or not it's a reboot or a sequel, a sequel for me is just weird, because like 4 came out so long ago, and like, I'm not sure what else they could tell in the Shrek story. I mean, they already kind of went crazy with it. I mean, one was a story. Two was like, all right, now we're like, Shrek and Fiona were together. Now we're kind of dealing with that. And then 3 and 4 were just kind of like off the rails. They were just like, let's just make up some shit. You know what I mean? Um, yeah, I don't really know what else they could tell in the Shrek story. I mean, I'm sure. I mean, if they wanted to, they come up with something. I mean, this is a fictional world. Literally anything could happen, and we'd be like, I mean, we can't say no because it's not based on anything. Or at least to my knowledge, I don't know if there's like Shrek fables or Shrek fairy tales or whatever that they're basing it off of. I don't really care if there is or isn't. It doesn't matter to me. The same exact way that Frozen was based off of some like Ice Queen fairy tale or whatever. Like, I don't. Okay, cool. I watch Frozen and I like it or I don't like it. You know what I mean? A reboot, on the other hand, is very interesting to me because Shrek 1 came out quite a while ago. Like, I had Shrek 1 on VHS, and now we're on Blu-ray. Well, now we're actually streaming, I would say, people are trying to replace all physical media with digital, so I guess we're in the streaming era now. Or we have been for a while, but that's a different conversation. Yeah, a reboot to me is more interesting because they would retell the Shrek 1 story. Probably a different art style, different animation style. Still 3D, I assume. And retelling it would be interesting because I definitely think that it's not old enough for them to just tell the same story again. Because like, if they rebooted Shrek like 30 years, 40 years after the first one, then I think they could tell the same story. But now I'm gonna look up when Shrek 1 came out because I don't think it was that long. I feel like it had to be like, let me guess. It couldn't have been before 2000. Like, when did I watch Shrek? When did I have Shrek on VHS? Although me having it on VHS doesn't mean I got it day one on VHS, though. I guess like 02 or something. I don't know. 02? That doesn't seem right. 06, I'm gonna guess. Damn it. 06. When the hell did this come out? 01. Wow, okay, it was that early. Damn. I was gonna guess 02 too. I'm a fucking idiot, and I guessed 06 like an idiot. So it was a picture book. Okay. Yeah, so 2001. So I came out when I was, damn. Then 04, 3 years. Then another 3 years. And then another 3. Wow, they were pretty consistent with 3 years. So we were expecting one in 2013, huh? That's pretty interesting. So yeah, and yeah, see, they planned on other Puss in Boots movies, but 9 Lives and 40 Thieves. That's kind of cool. The Puss in Boots movie was pretty good. I wasn't mad at it. What was I talking about? Reboot. Yeah, like it only came out 17 years ago, which is a while, but I still think of someone like me who watched it as a kid, like I still remember the old Shrek story. So I feel like just telling the same story again, I'd be like, all right, cool. I mean, it looks different, but they had to change something about it, or like they had to add stuff, or like more probably replace stuff. You know what I mean? Like they can't have the same gags. They can have like throwbacks to old ones, and obviously is some stuff is staple to Shrek character or whatever, but. Yeah, like I'm much more intrigued by a reboot because I would love to see where they would take it and like how and like how it would stack up against the first one because the first Shrek movie was pretty good, But yeah, I'd be very interested to see how this all plays out. Apparently, the person said that they're trying to get all the same voice cast, which would be fantastic. Which also wouldn't really lend. Again, which would I guess be weird about a reboot though, because usually with a reboot you don't have the same cast. You know what I mean? Like that's the whole point of rebooting it, is like you have a different cast now, and you can tell it in a different way, and there's different chemistry and different gags that can come out of that. So all very interesting. I think this has been, yeah, interesting. Don't look at that. So yeah, and the kind of branch I wanted to go off of that was, I have a link here, but I'm not gonna click it. Top franchises, huh? Top animated franchises. Boom. What are we doing, boys? Okay, here we go. I wanted to go through real quick, not take super long on this, but I wanted to go through and look at all the different, I don't know how extensive I'm going to be with this, but I want to go through all the the best animated movie franchises of all time, according to MSN, which is, I don't know about you guys, but I still use MSN, you know what I'm saying? And I want to go through and I want to see if, I want to see how many of these I feel deserved sequels, because again, we're looking at Shrek, which, again, I think the first one was great. I thought the second one was okay, and the third and fourth were unnecessary. But they made money, whatever. But I don't really think the world wanted more than two. I don't really think we needed more than one. And I think that happens with a lot of movies. I think a lot of movies do well, and then they're like, oh, sequel, and that one, monetarily does well, and then more come out, they do well, and it's like, well, doesn't mean they're good, So I just want to go through this. So we have Incredibles, right? If I could scroll down, that'd be great. It's just right here. Incredibles, best Pixar movie to date. Is Incredibles the best Pixar movie to date? Yeah, it is. It is. Why don't you, anyone out there, let me hear what you think the best Pixar movie is, because I think it's The Incredibles. I think me and Ray actually, like a year ago, we decided to make our definitive list of Pixar movies. We made a definitive list of Pixar movies, Disney animated, and Marvel movies. That's what we did. We made 3 lists, and I think we both put Incredibles as number 1. So I'd be interested to see what you guys think. One, what you think number 1 is, because again, I'm going for Incredibles. And 2, if Incredibles isn't your number 1, I want to know where you would rank it, because that's interesting to me. If you don't think, and I'm not saying Incredibles is definitively like, oh, you're an idiot if you don't, but I would also, if you can make your list and put it in the comments or tweet it at me or whatever, I would love to see that too. And I might actually tweet out my list if anyone responds to this. If anyone wants to throw out their list, I'll throw out my list. But yeah, this got Incredibles 2. I think this deserved Incredibles 2, like, as Incredibles 1 came out. Incredibles 1 was amazing. 2004, Jim Privilege promised it. Glorialization won't come out until 2018. But it's okay. So this is kind of an old thing that must be like a year old or whatever. I'm actually surprised we didn't get a sequel to this right after this came out, because they kind of alluded to it. Like at the end of Incredibles 1, we had the mole, the underground miner. What was his name? I don't know. Come up in the end of it, and he's like, I'm gonna rule the world. You surface people or whatever. And then nothing happened with it. And it was just like, oh, and Incredibles 1 was amazing. And like their world, like I feel like they can tell so many stories, and nothing happened. And then one finally came out. I haven't seen it yet, which is a sin. I just haven't gotten around to seeing it yet. I just haven't had time. I just haven't, you know what I mean? But this one definitely deserved. Let's not look ahead. I don't want to look ahead either. This one definitely deserved it, I think. And I'll have to watch a second one, but we'll see if it deserves a third one too. See, 3 is where it starts getting a little shaky. I feel like once you make one really good one, it's like, yes. Once you make a second one, if it's good, people will be like, all right, acceptable. At the very least, they'll be like, acceptable. I'm fine with that. But then a third one, it's like, all right, at a certain point, they really have to be a certain level of quality for you to accept them. No matter how good the first one is, how good the second one was. What's the next one? Toy Story. Toy Story is, I feel like, a roller coaster because one was great. Two, I feel like two was the one that people say was a little bit of a step down. Although I don't think anyone will say Toy Story 2 was a bad movie, because I don't think it was a bad movie. And then Toy Story 3 was the one that was controversial because we're like, damn, it's been so long, why, a third one, which is great, people are like, oh, this is amazing. But we're like, oh, okay, what kind of story? And then 3 came out and it was the perfect ending to a trilogy. And now we're getting a fourth one, which as I'm recording this, we just got new teaser, trailer, whatever you want to call it. And I'm still not sure about it, I mean, it's just one of those things that, like, 3 was so good. 3 was such a good ending, if you haven't seen it, go see it. But Andy went off to college and it ended with him. Well, the whole premise was him going to college, but at the end he went to college and he didn't want to just leave his toys in an attic or throw them out, so he ended up giving them to some little girl who was like in the neighborhood or whatever, to like kind of pass the torch on, carry on the legacy of his toys, because toys to him were so great, and like he was like, toys were like his life, like that was what he played with, he didn't play with other, so and I think definitely when it came out, even I saw that, they ended it that way specifically to make it so a sequel to that was possible, to be like, hey, if we ended this way, if we feel like it, we could make another movie, because now we could tell the story of the toys we know mixed in with the new toys we don't know from the little girl, and kind of tell a story from that perspective of like, oh, kind of a new, like this has been the first time since they've had a new owner, I mean, obviously a lot of the toys that Andy has have come from other people, but Buzz, Woody, like those two, like they haven't had any other owners, like this has been it. So as for if they warranted sequels, I definitely think they did. First one was great, second one was great, third one was amazing. I mean, I think, commercially, critically, I'm not mad at them making a fourth one, but story-wise, it's like, all right, you guys are really gonna have to hit this one out of the park, because 3 was the perfect ending to Toy Story. You know what I mean? Like, if somewhere down the line you wanted to reboot it, not mad at that. Give you a chance to have, some of the same main characters, have a completely different cast of, different toys that you make up. But, which 4 might feel like somewhat of a reboot with a new kid, a bunch of new toys, hopefully, so we'll see how it comes out. I'm not as certain about Toy Story 4, although I have my hopes pretty high, only because they haven't made a bad Toy Story movie yet, and Pixar has a pretty good batting average with movies. I mean, there's only a few movies that Pixar has made that I'm like, that wasn't really a good movie. But you're Pixar, so I guess we'll just accept it, even though it's really not that good. But for the most part, every Pixar movie is good, at least. You know what I mean? There's a few of them that I'm like, you could have cut that one out. That wasn't it, Chief. But so we'll see. Shrek, we just talked about Shrek. That's fine. That was a terrifying face, by the way. Oh my god, why is the quality so good? Cars. So remember, like a couple seconds ago, where I was like, man, most of the stuff Pixar makes is good. This is the one franchise where I'm like, I think Pixar missed a little bit, because Cars 1 was pretty good. It wasn't great. I don't think Cars was great. But I do think it was pretty good. Acceptable for Pixar, I guess. But 2 and 3 weren't good. 2 and 3 were not good movies. 2 2 2 was like, I remember someone describing 2 as just an hour and a half long. I don't remember how long Cars 2 was. I'm guessing it was an hour and a half. It's just an hour and a half long Mater's Tall Tales, because like after Cars 1 came out, they had this, they made these shorts called Mater's Tall Tales, and this is when Mater would tell a story, and to him it was real. To him it's like, no, this actually happened, but to us they were tall tales, because it was like there was one where he got like abducted by an alien or something like that. Yeah, so, and the reason people say that is because like over half the movie, or actually kind of the whole premise of the movie, it's not really focused on lightning anymore. It's Mater, who somehow got mistaken for a spy, and now he works for a spy agency, and they're trying to take down these people who are trying to kind of like kill race cars. Like almost. And like, to me it's just like, it just doesn't make sense, like, how did Mater get mistaken for a spy? Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, that doesn't make any sense. You know what I mean? And why is Lightning McQueen racing in a Grand Prix? Like, he's a race car. He's like a NASCAR. Like, they're not built for Grand Prix style tracks, like NASCAR, again, with my very, very limited knowledge of NASCAR, but to me I feel like the cars are built for speed and endurance. Like, they're not really built for twisty and windy, tracks, different elevations, different climates and stuff like that. It's not really what it's about. So I feel like it's just also weird that McQueen got accepted into a world Grand Prix. You know what I mean? But and then Cars 3 doesn't make any sense either. Me and Ray actually watched Cars 3 like a year ago. In the whole entire movie, we were just like, why is this happening? Like, nothing in this movie, this makes less sense than Cars 2. Like, why is this movie happening? Isn't it like nothing here is justified. The writing in the movie really isn't that good. The jokes in the movie are awful. Worse than Cars 2. So like as a whole, the Cars franchise is trash. I hate to say that for people out there who like Cars, but, and then even Cars 1, like, one of my other friends was like, Cars 1 is like top 3 Pixar or something like that, and I was like, what? No. I don't want to spoil my list, but the 4 movies on the bottom of the list for me on Pixar is Brave and all 3 Cars movies. I don't know quite what order, but like Cars 1 really wasn't that good when you go back and watch it with skeptical eyes, and you're like, all right, let me actually review it as like a movie, and like the plot, and like, of course, ridiculous. It's like, oh, they're talking cars, but no, but like, go back and watch it with the intention of trying to figure out why all this stuff is pieced together, and why all these plots make sense together, and like how everything comes to be in Cars 1 doesn't make any sense. Like, there's so many things that are just thrown out the window, and so many things that they just don't explain. You know what I mean? Like, one of the biggest things for me is in Cars 1, Lightning is one of 3 most popular race cars in the country. Racing the biggest race there is in the country. And they're racing in a world full of cars. They are racing. To them, that, like, the biggest race in the country for a planet that is cars is like the biggest deal in the world. And he is one of the most famous race cars on the planet right now. So I just don't understand how he got lost, and it took so long for them to find him. So long for them to find him. You know what I mean? Like, that doesn't make sense to me. And it's like, oh, well, because he's on Route 66, and it's an old route, and it's a place that people have forgotten, and, you know, no one really knows what's out there. It's like, yeah, okay, I get that, I guess, but, like, they have technology, you know? Like, they have GPS. Like, you trying to tell me that Lightning McQueen doesn't have GPS in his car? Like, or in him, not in his car, it's him, you know? Like, you know, I know that Mac fell asleep, but there was at no point where he realized, like, it just felt like it took him so long to realize. Anyway, I don't care. To me, Cars did not warrant the two. I mean, commercially it did, because Cars made a lot of money, but in terms of the movies, like, nah. Cars really wasn't it. Cars 2 definitely wasn't it. And they tried to save it with Cars 3. Cars 3 was it the least. So, Monsters Inc. Was pretty good. First Monsters Inc. is great. Yeah. First Monsters Inc. was amazing. Monsters Inc. University came out. We're like, all right, okay, a prequel. That makes sense. I would love to learn some old stuff. And then Monsters Inc. University just explains so much, and it's like, this is what I would want a sequel. Even though it's a prequel, it showed us so much. It built up the world even more. Like, it really showed a relationship between Mike and Sully, like, how a lot of the other main characters in Monsters Inc. came to be. This one deserved one. And I don't know if they have any plans to make another one. You know what I mean? I mean, again, it came out in 2001, 2013, 12 years later. I don't think they have any plans to make another one. I don't really think they have to. I mean, because I feel like the only other story would be to do a sequel to the first one with, like, their new, like, you know how, like, they don't scare anymore. They make the kids laugh. So I think that could be interesting. You know, How to Train Your Dragon. Okay, yeah, they're making another one of those, aren't they? Yeah, third is in the works. This movie was actually surprisingly good. Like, the first one was actually really good, and the second one was also actually really good. I would say this one warranted it. Definitely. Definitely. A third one, though, I don't know. God, Despicable Me. Third one, though, I don't know. I don't know if this warrants a third one. For first two were pretty good. I don't know what the third one's going to be about. I don't even know if there's a trailer or anything released. We'll see. Yeah, we'll see. Despicable Me is one of those franchises that I think is underrated. I think that every Despicable Me movie is good. I haven't seen the third one or Minions, so I've seen half of them. But 1 and 2 are actually pretty good freaking movies, dude. I feel like people don't think they are as good as they are because the whole Minion thing kind of went out of control, and, like, Minions were on everything, they were everywhere, and people just got sick of them. But I think that if you go back and watch them, if you're like, oh no, these movies are trash, they're nothing, it's just a bunch of nothing happening, you should go back and watch it, because, like, there's actually a real story being told. There's actually real emotions. Like, yes, we do have the Minions, and they do act stupid, and they have, like, dumb, they have more than one fart joke, which people think is, cheapened comedy, which I don't disagree with that necessarily, but I don't think it makes the movie bad at all. But if you just go back and watch it, like, there's, like, a real movie. Like, it's a real movie. It's a real animated movie with real emotions, with real conflict, with, like, things that you can relate to. Like, it's good, and I think that people said they made too many of them because they thought the Minions thing went out of control, and I don't. Well, I do, but one, that's very smart marketing for one, and two, I just think that you guys didn't really see it for what it was. You guys just kind of saw it for, oh, it's just another dumb kids movie with these dumb minions. Like, no, like, actually watch the movie. Trust me, it's good. Man, I've only been through a third of these so far. I'm going to start going through these a little bit faster. Ice Age, amazing. First Ice Age, amazing. The other ones, not so sure. But I don't think the other Ice Age are that bad, actually. I'm kind of going through them in my head. They're not that bad. They're actually pretty funny. There's not really a whole lot of emotion going on in them, really. I'll say the first one was definitely the best. Definitely the best, because that was like a real movie with like that's like one of those things I think that could have made the other movies better, is that I don't know why they never brought the humans back. Like, the first movie had the humans in it. That was the whole thing with the kid. Like, it should be great if we saw humans again in that movie. You know what I mean? Like, I guess there was the Ice Age, right? Right, with like Meltdown, right? That was the whole thing. I can't believe they actually had that in Ice Age. Like, that was essentially Noah's Ark. And everything except for the thing stuff on that boat died. I can't believe they had that in a freaking DreamWorks movie. Or, it's DreamWorks or Blue Sky? DreamWorks, right? Blue Sky. I don't care anymore. DreamWorks, Ice Age. It's gotta be DreamWorks. It's Blue Sky? What the hell is Ice Age? I was getting confused. Because Blue Sky is one of those movies. Are they planning on making another Ice Age? I don't remember. It's Blue Sky? Ice Age. Blue Sky. It's Blue Sky. It's Blue Sky. Got it. Are they planning on making another one of these? Let me just check this real quick. Collision Course. Did I see Collision Course? I saw Continental Drift. As received some criticism, no attempt to be scientifically accurate. So? It's a movie. It's a kids movie. It's a kids animated movie. Who cares if it's that's the criticism, is that it's not scientifically accurate? That's stupid. That's dumb criticism. It's not a fucking documentary. What was Collision Course? Did I watch this one? What the fuck is the plot, my dude? Scrat accidentally launches several deadly meteors to Earth during an attempt to bury his acorn. Many that heard his mission. They're gonna fend off meteors? I gotta watch this movie. What the hell is this? Scrat once again buries acorn. Alien ship. That's what this is? Yeah, I definitely didn't watch this. Oh yeah, Peaches is older now. I gotta watch this movie. Are they planning on making more of these? Let me see this. Shrek rebooted. Let's just cut that off. I don't need that anymore. Future. Do they plan on making more of these? Possibility potential sequel. There were some ideas for next installment. Which being produced was relatively high, even though it could largely depend on the box office of the fifth film. Later, comments said that the film's poor reception and how the franchise was moving further into absurdity, further away from leaving emotional impact on audience to stay. The sixth film could have potential to redeem the franchise by going back to its roots, reaches in the humans. Yes! Guys, I just said that. Oh my god, I just said that. Reintroduce the humans. Like, that would, like, humans are here. Humans didn't die. Humans are history. Like, reintroduce the humans. That would be insane if they brought that kid back that they saved in the first movie. That would be awesome. That might bring the franchise back. Make a sixth movie, bring the kid back, bring the humans back, have some kind of conflict. I don't know what it'd be. Maybe a third party. Maybe it doesn't have to be conflict between, you know, Manny and them and the humans. It could be a third party. That would be great. That'd be awesome. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I think a lot of these franchises that make 1, 2, 3 too many movies, is that the franchise was moving further into absurdity and further away from leaving any emotional impact. Yeah, because I think people start reaching for storylines. You know what I mean? When they really only plan on making 1, maybe 2 of these, and now there's 4, 5, 6 of them. You know what I mean? I think that is one of the big problems And I think that at some point you just gotta say no, like no more of these. I don't care if people want it. Let's make another movie that people will want. You know what I mean? But yeah, for me, I don't know if they deserved the sequels. I mean, one was good. What was two again? Two was the Meltdown. Two was pretty good. Three wasn't bad. I like the dinosaur thing. I think Continental Drift and me reading Collision Course, I think those two are definitely, like, if they kept it at a trilogy, I think people would be like, alright, that was dope. But then I said Continental Drift was kind of, I mean, I don't know, it was weird. Them floating on the ocean, and then at least a collision has aliens, and it's like, alright, I don't know what. But yeah, I don't know. I think I deserved a couple of them, but I don't think we needed 5. I'm ready for 6 if they want to bring the humans back. I'm ready for 6. Where else are you gonna go but back to humans if you've already done aliens? Kung Fu Panda. Kung Fu Panda I think gets a bad rap too. Kung Fu Panda 1 and 2, great. Haven't seen 3 yet. I really want to. There's good jokes. I like the whole like Asian kung fu, different animals like Zodiac, all that kind of stuff. That's awesome. I think the humor in this is great. I think I just think it's good. I think Jack Black is doing his thing. This is what Jack Black wants to do. You can tell. Human cartoon, yeah. I'm not mad at this. Does it deserve the next 2 movies? Sure. Have you watched the show? I have. Show's pretty damn good. I'm not mad at Kung Fu Panda at all. Madagascar. Madagascar's another one that I think it really hasn't gone into absurdity, I guess. I think all 3 Madagascar movies have been pretty good. First one was great when they were just, getting, whether they want to be zoo animals or not. Second one was when they were trapped on Africa, And third one was when they went to the circus. I'm not really mad at any of those, honestly. I think they're all good. They all have good characters. First one was legendary, of course. But yeah, again, I'm not mad. I think they deserved them. I think they were great. I think the cast is amazing. I was gonna spell deserve because I just said deserve, but I want to do Madagascar. Yeah, again, I'm not mad at any of these either. I think they deserved it. I wouldn't be mad if they made a 4th, honestly. I definitely think the third one probably went a little left into absurdness, but nah, I'm not mad. I'm not mad at it all. Are they gonna make a 4th one? They also made a TV show called Penguins of Madagascar. That was pretty good too. It was very interesting to hear that, because like those are some of the most interesting characters, or the most like mystifying characters of the entire movie franchise, was the penguins, and they're like weird like military spies. Like I don't know, like they have so much knowledge. They're like taking out humans. But yeah, and they made a show also pretty good. Not mad at it. Okay, 4th one. Let's see what it says on here. Jeremy says there is likely to be a 4th one. Too early to tell. 2 things have to happen. One is that the world has to want Madagascar 4. To make sure we have an idea that is incredible, that is great, that's unexpected. Move from it. Oh, DreamWorks has a policy to only make so they limit it at 2 films a year. Interesting. In 2017, a year and a half ago, he said things are in the works. I'm not mad at the 4th one. I'd be very interested to see what the 4th movie is about, because again, I'm not sure where they could go. I'm not sure what other kind of story would be compelling enough for them to tell. Because right now they're part of the circus, right? They ended up leaving the zoo, right? I think they did, because the zoo was trash when they came back. And they dipped. I think so. Yeah. Yeah, I just want to see what y'all are doing. Yeah, productions, released films. What have you released so far this year? Captain Under. Okay. Oh, that's not true. Because you released maybe fiscal year. Penguins of Madagascar. That was a movie. They had a Penguins of Madagascar movie. Wait. They had a Penguins of Madagascar. I thought it was just a show. Oh my god, guys, I have to watch this. I have to watch it. Turtle, Peabody and Sherman was pretty good. I think there's plans to make another one of those too. Home, Kung Fu Panda, Trolls. I heard Trolls was good. Boss Baby, Underpants. How to Train Your Dragon, Abominable, Trolls, Crudes. I'm actually really interested in a Crude sequel because Crudes was pretty good. What the fuck is Spooky Jack? The Bad Guys, Kipo, the Puss in Boots, Shadow, Shrek, Sputnik, Voltron, Wizards. Okay, whatever. Okay, sure. So yeah, not mad at Madagascar. Finding Nemo, great. Finding Nemo might be number 2 on my Pixar list. Amazing movie. Finding Dory came out, super excited for it. A lot of people said it was a letdown. Nah. Not good as Finding Nemo. It's not. The same way, I haven't seen Incredibles 2 yet. Probably not as good as Incredibles 1. But Finding Dory was still great. I mean, the whole thing revolved around Dory. I thought the cast of characters was amazing. I thought the situations were just as ridiculous as they were in Nemo. You know what I mean? I'm not mad at that. Was waiting for it for a while. Came out. Didn't disappoint. I didn't have expectations of it being better than Finding Nemo. I was just like, this is going to be good. It'll probably, be up there. I know what happens when sequels come out, especially a sequel to an amazing movie like Finding Nemo, and a sequel that comes out so long later, 13 years. So I had my expectations set right, I think, and I thought it was good. I thought it was above average. That's really all I could ask for. I mean, you can hope for more, but if you think it's gonna be, it's gonna be better than Finding Nemo, no. It's gonna be as good as Finding Nemo, no, probably not. I mean, Finding Nemo is one of the best. Again, in my opinion, probably the second best Pixar movie they've ever made. So, the same way when Incredibles 2 got announced, I wasn't like, it's gonna be better than Incredibles. No. It'll probably be under it, but yeah. Wallace and Gromit. Don't have much to say about Wallace and Gromit. I enjoy Wallace and Gromit. I'm not a huge fan. I haven't seen all the movies, whatever, all that stuff. The stop motion is cool. I think their situations are ridiculous. Not much to say. I'm not as well versed in them, but yeah, I mean, their movies seem cool. I don't really see people ever complaining when a new Wallace and Gromit comes out. I think they're ridiculous enough that, and they're lighthearted enough that it's just like, sure, another one, I'm down. Rio, not a huge fan of Rio, gonna say. Rio 1 wasn't bad. I don't think I've seen Rio 2. Rio was just one of those movies that kind of just flew by me. It's just like, alright, cool. I mean, Rio 1 was fine. Rio 2 was fine. Did it deserve the sequels? I mean, again, I don't think they're bad movies, but I'm not a huge fan. I thought they were okay. Like, sure. Doraemon. I'm just gonna skip that. I have not seen that. Pokemon. Not much to say here. Pokemon movies are great. I mean, if you're a fan of the Pokemon series, Pokemon movies are great. They definitely feel like movies. I think a lot of shows, when they make movies, it's just like, it doesn't feel like a movie. It just feels like an hour and a half long episode. Pokemon movies step it up. Like, if you want some Pokemon story and some crazy shit to happen, you watch the movies. Especially 1, 2, 3, and 4. I think the first 4 I remember pretty well. Yeah, ridiculous shit happens in these movies. Did it deserve it? Of course. Of course they did deserve them. I think they still deserve them. I mean, again, they are able to tell stories that are much bigger, that have much more consequence, that have much bigger consequence, like actual consequences, which kind of juxtaposes the show, which is very like, it's very grounded in the sense that there's no real consequences to what happens in this world. You know, it's very self-contained, where the movie's just like, no, the earth is going to die. Lego movie. I haven't seen as many Lego movies as I wish I have. I've seen the first one. First movie Lego movie is great. Amazing. All the sequels they make after that, I'm down. I mean, it's Legos. It's a ridiculous concept. Lego has decades of content it can pull from to make movies. As long as it has the same kind of humor, the same, cast it well, I'm down for all these movies. I don't care. Happy Feet. Interesting. Yeah. Happy Feet was cool. I wasn't a huge fan of Happy Feet 2. Happy Feet 1 was cool though. Yeah, it was a cool story. I definitely think it was able to pull at some emotional heartstrings, you know what I'm saying? But I'm kind of glad they stopped. Yeah, I'm kind of glad they stopped. I really don't think we needed a second one. I thought one was good. This was a cool kind of interesting concept for a story. We don't need more. Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. This was surprisingly good. Like, both of them were surprisingly good. And the humor was top notch for me in these, which I think put it over the edge of like good to, all right, these are actually kind of really good. Again, ridiculous concept based on a freaking children's book that is almost no story. It's just ridiculous. SpongeBob movies, yeah. SpongeBob is probably one of my favorite shows of all time. Probably top 3. Scarlett Johansson. Oh yeah, I always forget that she played the fucking the freaking mermaid in the first movie. Yeah, it's so weird to me that she did that was her. SpongeBob was probably one of my favorite shows of all time. Probably top 3 favorite shows of all time, I might say. Definitely top 5. First movie, amazing. First movie, I don't care if you like SpongeBob or you don't. If you're into animated shit, watch the first SpongeBob movie. Second movie, not great. I've only seen it once, so maybe if I watch it another time or two, I'll like appreciate it. But I mean, did it deserve another one? Yes. I think at this point, SpongeBob could have 10 movies. I mean, SpongeBob's been on the air since 98, 99, I think. So I'm surprised they haven't made more movies. I'd be surprised if they don't make another one. But the second movie wasn't that good. It was kind of weird. Like, a lot of the stuff that happened, I felt like went against the character motivations. I know that sounds weird saying it for SpongeBob, but like, yeah, I don't know. First movie was amazing. Second movie, not as good. Yeah. Rugrats movies, I don't have much to say about these, only because I haven't seen them in forever. Although I do remember Rugrats, the first Rugrats movie being amazing. I do remember that. And Rugrats was a great show. Looney Tunes, is that just Space Jam? Did they make other Looney Tunes movies? Oh, they're making Space Jam 2. Space Jam 1 was fantastic. Space Jam 2, I don't know if it's going to be good. I expect it to be though. I mean, 1 was amazing. One was like amazing because it was like one of the first movies and definitely one of the best movies to mix live action and animation. So we'll see. It definitely deserves another one, but I don't know if the second one's gonna be good. I don't know how. Yeah. Just gonna leave it there. Peter Pan. There was multiple Peter Pan movies. Yeah, there was. Interesting. I don't remember any other Peter Pan movies. Probably because they were trash and they were probably straight to DVD. Peter Pan 1 was great though. Lion King. Okay, so I'm gonna be real. I've probably seen Lion King 2 and probably Lion King 3. Don't remember that much though. Don't remember them that much. They probably weren't that good. They were straight to DVD. Lion King 1, fantastic, one of the best Disney movies ever made. Lion King 1.5, also fantastic. If you haven't seen that, if you don't even know what I'm talking about, go watch it. It's basically the entire Lion King movie, but instead of the point of view of Simba, it's the point of view of Timon and Pumbaa, and it is fantastic. It is an amazing concept that they somehow pulled off. I don't have a lot to say about Hotel Transylvania. I mean, they're fun movies, I guess, but I don't really think they're that good, per se. And I like Adam Sandler. I know there's this whole stigma with Adam Sandler that there's definitely a point in which he just really, really sharp downhill in his career, but I still think everything Adam Sandler makes is fun. Is it good? That's subjective, but I'm not mad at Hotel Transylvania, but Jungle Book. Yeah. Don't let us say about this one either. Jungle Book was great. Dude, Rescuers. Not enough people know about Rescuers. Rescuers and Rescuers Down Under are two fantastic films. And I feel like they're films that not enough people watched. Fantastic. I have nothing to say about these films because I just want everyone out there to watch these two films. These are two animated movies that I feel like everyone I talked to has never seen these two movies. And that's probably why it was during the Renaissance era. That's probably why people didn't watch it. The least successful performance of the Renaissance era. 28 million at the box office. Yeah, kids adored it because it's fucking awesome. It's the hidden gem of the Renaissance era of... Oh, fuck yes, dude. Featuring the voice... What is American Tail? I don't even know what this is, guys, gonna be honest. I love Disney. Don't know what this movie is. Oh, Fantasia. Alright, yeah, there's nothing to say. Fantasia's awesome. What? Yeah, I don't know what to say about Fantasia. Fantasia's kind of controversial. Just watch the original, and if you like it, that's cool. Don't really think about the sequel too hard. But yeah, that kind of wraps that up. That went on for a little longer than I wanted it to, but like I said, there's some of these movies that I think deserve sequels, some of them that I don't think did. Again, I'm not talking commercially because obviously if a sequel makes money, or if a movie makes money, they're going to make a sequel. But there's definitely, like with Shrek, it's so polarizing because I think some people really love all the Shrek movies and some people are just like, they should have stopped at one. So with a lot of these new ones coming out, I just think it's like, like, I don't think they're making the wrong decision by releasing some of these sequels because it makes money, but I think at some point you should take like your artistic pride into consideration, which again is crazy when you're living in America, which is very capitalist. And of course, if you make one movie and it makes $100 million, make another one, duh. It's like, yeah, but why don't you just make another movie that people will like, you know what I mean? But it's new and it's a fresh concept. Like, as a creative person, you should never be out of ideas, So, I don't know. And again, I'm not trying to say that, I'm creative than other people. I mean, I'm creative than some people. I'm way less creative than other people. I'm just saying that for people who make animated movies like Disney, Pixar, DreamWorks, like Blue Sky, like they're creative people, very, very creative people. And I feel like the problem there isn't a lack of ideas. It's definitely just, oh, this makes money, so we're just gonna do it again. And it's like, but like, you have the resources to make so many different ideas happen and put on the big screen. Like, I don't know. I guess it's just how the industry works. But so yeah, let me know in the comments or tweet at me which of these movies franchises you think deserve the sequels, and which ones didn't. Because some definitely didn't. You can't sit here and say all of them deserve the sequels. You're insane. So yeah. What next? Here's Here's what I'm gonna do, right? This episode's already an hour and 20 long, and I gotta talk about Walking Dead. So, there's something I really, really want to talk about this episode, and it's not necessarily gonna take that long, but I think I'm gonna push it to next episode. But I do want to mention it. Stan Lee passed away this last week, and my plan was to go through. People have made compilations of all of his cameos he's ever been in. I assume in the MCU they might include the one from Teen Titans Go. They might include the one from the Raimi movies, other stuff. But the ones that most people know him for, they're for the MCU. So I originally wanted to watch the video and go through them and kind of talk about him and everything like that, kind of in honor of him. But I think I'm gonna push that to next week, only because this episode's already getting kind of long. I still have to talk about Walking Dead. So if you're looking if you're looking forward to that, I'm sorry it's not gonna be this episode. Watch next episode. It will most definitely, that'll be the first thing I do. We'll do that, maybe. If I remember, it'll definitely be in that episode. I'm not gonna push it back again. Also, next episode, I'm probably gonna talk a little bit about rap music. I don't like the way I said that. I'm gonna talk a little bit about hip hop next episode. So if that's your thing, tune in next episode. And this sounds like a wrap up because it is. Again, for people who don't care about The Walking Dead or are not caught up, this is where you will probably turn it off, and that's fine. I completely understand. So yes, next episode, definitely Stan Lee Memorial, definitely some hip hop, definitely Walking Dead, and then maybe, I don't know how long that'll all take, maybe there'll be one more thing in there to talk about, but, so yeah, again, if you don't care about Walking Dead, that's cool. Once this new anime season starts, I'll be covering at least one, maybe two anime shows every week for y'all. With y'all, not for y'all, with y'all. And also something else that'll kind of counteract Walking Dead, since Walking Dead has 2 episodes left. So, yeah, please let me know any recommendations you have. It could be airing right now, or it could be airing 20 years ago. I don't care, as long as it's a good show. I would love to watch a show I haven't seen before. So I'm sorry for some of the shows that I might turn down only because I've seen them. Like, I want a fresh experience, the same way I'm freshly experiencing Walking Dead right now. So throw in some recommendations, because I don't know what's good. I'm still over here watching The Walking Dead, so but yeah, so people who don't care about The Walking Dead and are going to turn this off, I thank you for making it this far, an hour and 23 minutes in. Yeah, I hope you guys have a good rest of your day, and hopefully I will see you for episode 3. So yeah. Alright, awesome. Now, for people who care about The Walking Dead, or just want to keep hearing me talking, I don't know, maybe you're doing something and have this on in the background and you're just like, I don't care, I'll listen to him talk about Walking Dead. That's cool. So yeah, I think for this time, it's going to be similar to last time. I am going to skim through the episode though. So that'll be kind of my recap of it. We'll be skimming through. I'm not going to watch the whole episode. This whole endeavor will probably take like 5-10 minutes or so to recap it. So I am skimming through it, not watching the entire episode. And then I will go on to Reddit, and we will look at some of their theories, and we will discuss some of the hottest topics in this episode, because I think there was a lot. So let's get to that.
Previously on The Walking Dead.
Listen to what I say. Step aside.
So last episode we had this was the episode where
sun keeps rising.
We saw the preview for the next 3 episodes. We saw that it was a time skip.
For something.
This is just a bunch of the intro. I'm gonna skip a bunch of this. Yeah, so remember last time we saw Judith saving somebody. I should put this in full screen. We saw Judith saving somebody, or a bunch of people actually, and this kind of picked up where it left off. We saw them kind of arguing. We saw them kind of, this is Jerry. We saw them kind of arguing over if they should take him back or not. Judith was obviously, yes, we have to take them back. Aaron was very hesitant because he was like, but there's rules. And Rosita was like, oh, there's rules. And Eugene was like, there's rules. But Judith was like, no, like, we're doing this. And I think Judith gave the ultimatum of like, if they're not going, I'm not going. And Aaron's like, well, damn, you have to go. So yeah, that was that. They ended up taking them. Now we're cut to here. We saw in the preview last time that Carol had long hair. Long hair is awesome.
Another pipe went.
Yeah, pipe burst. Very minor detail in this.
Figure it out.
Hilltop feels so desperate.
In flagrant violation of the
right here, we kind of hear them talking about, and it kind of alludes to all the communities are kind of broken apart.
Hilltop feels so desperate.
Kind of alluding to that, just like all the communities, Hilltop, Alexandria, Kingdom, others, they're not as close as they once were. And I think that definitely has to do with Rick. Rick being gone. Rick was the big factor in that. He was the one trying to keep everyone together, and I think naturally they kind of drifted apart a little bit. You know, they're not as tight as they used to be. I still think that if something were to happen, like something drastic, they would come to their aid. But
You'll be safe here.
that's kind of an interesting development.
I promise.
That they're not as close. I mean, it has been 6 years, so. And then we see them come back to the place. The one person had head trauma, so that's why they really wanted to help. But that probably helped them.
Head trauma. She's conscious.
Decided to bring them. People are very skeptical, and then Michonne comes in, and Michonne is apparently head of security, and she is very skeptical.
My call.
She like can't believe that they
It's not your
brought him back. And then Judith says that it was my decision. I'm the one who decided. And Michonne is just very, very like, I can't believe you did this. Like, we have rules, like you know the rules about bringing new people in, which basically to me sounds like you never ever do it. Never. Like we don't play that around here. We don't bring people in. And then they decide to say, all right, let's just put him to trial. Tomorrow morning, I think, I forget who says it, but, someone's just like, Gabriel, I think, was like, it's getting dark out. Tomorrow morning, we put him to trial, which would basically, to me at this point in the episode, I'm like, all right, that probably means that they're going to ask him a bunch of questions, and they're going to see if they're fit for staying here. We see that Henry is leaving with Carol. They're bringing Henry to the hilltop.
Wonder where he
yeah.
gets that from.
And Ezekiel doesn't like that because, Ezekiel wants Henry to stay. We're here, back here where they are doing the trials. Real quick note, damn it. The one black girl, I don't remember their names, they're new characters, I'm sorry. Her right here is, uses sign language, so I think she's mute. I don't think no, she has to be deaf because she doesn't understand what people are saying. So I guess she's deaf. I don't know if she's mute too. All I know is that she uses sign language. And then they're basically describing, their past, where they came from, how they survived, what they were before this, what they've done since then. And if it could just go to a shot of all of them.
Except for the fact.
All right, well, these two right here seem very close. It is insinuated that they are in a relationship. She was a lawyer, I think. She was a high school student. The other woman was a waitress, and the guy was a music teacher.
Community.
Kind of describe it, and Yeah, it doesn't sound that bad. They actually sound pretty good. And they were going to go for a vote, and then Michonne stood up and was like, wait. And so she seems like she has something to say. And she goes right to this one, because this one definitely seems like the leader. She definitely seems like she's like very hard. She's very like, you know, she tries to be tough to read, you know, all that stuff. And Michonne is skeptical from her from minute one.
Hard time.
And she says, you know, why don't you show me your left hand? And she's very reluctant.
I second the motion.
And we see, I don't know if we're going to see it.
And I know that you do too.
Yeah. On her hand over here, there's a tattoo that is a prison tattoo. And then Michonne, not only pointing that out, points out that she hid another weapon on her. It's like in her belt buckle. It's like a knife that's inside of her belt buckle. You know, when they came in, they all willfully, I guess, yeah. They all were happy to give up their weapons. And then Michonne was skeptical, and then we see that she was actually hiding an extra weapon here, which is fair. I mean, she was trying to be safe, you know. I mean, it's 4 people coming into a community of hundreds, or I don't know how many people are there, but you know, this is Michonne's point of, you know, we don't just let people in. Like, look at this, she was hiding a weapon, you know, like we don't know that we can trust her, you know. Everyone here wants to trust her. I mean, everyone here wants to trust everyone. Could you imagine if everyone on Earth could trust everyone and everyone was good? It'd be amazing. But Michonne's over here like, well, that's not, you know, that's obviously not something that's real. So that plays to their point, and then eventually it is decided that after the one who we haven't really seen too much, who had head trauma, after she is up and ready, you guys are leaving. You guys are out. Over here, we see that Gabriel is apparently somewhat in charge of
I think Michonne's wrong.
finding new people, I guess, or something like that. It's not clearly stated in here. He has like maps everywhere. He has radios, you know. And Michonne is still very reluctant. She, you know, she doesn't really want all of this. She doesn't really want to find new people necessarily.
They're here.
You know, and they have like a plan to enhance something in the radio, the frequencies, to get new people. We see that Gabriel and Rosita are a thing, which is very controversial. I'm not mad at it. We see Michonne talking to herself. She's talking to Rick and or Carl, and Judith sees her. Judith probably is like, this is weird, this is crazy, you know what I mean? Like, she, you know, it's a very weird thing to see your mom, to walk up on your mom and she is talking to her dead, to your dead dad and brother, you know what I mean? She gets caught, and they don't really say anything about it, but Michonne definitely knew that Judith caught her talking. And right here we see Henry run off of the horse because he hears someone screaming help, so he's just like, oh, I gotta help someone. Carol's obviously like, no, wait, like, don't just run off. And then we see it was a trap. We see not only was it a trap, it was a trap by the saviors, because this man right here was one of the ones leading the charge and getting the saviors the fuck out of Rick's camp. He wasn't with it. So it's like, oh, great. Right here, not much to say here. Rosita and Eugene are on the mission of, you know, enhancing the frequency in the radio, whatever it is, to gain more people. And the big thing to take away here is Eugene is jealous of Gabriel because Eugene, I guess, likes Rosita. And he basically tells her that without telling her that. So that's the whole thing. People are debating whether or not they think Eugene or Gabriel should be with Rosita. Really not much here, honestly. Right here, you know, they're you know, they got him. And he basically just says, you know, I'm not gonna kill you, just give me your wagon. What does he say? He just give me. He doesn't say give me your wagon. He just says give me all your supplies, I think. And Carol says, okay, whatever, just do it, because in her mind she's like, you got us. And then he adds in, also, I want your ring. And if you remember, the ring is a engagement ring or a wedding ring, whatever it is, that Ezekiel gave her. And and Carol's just like, fine, take it, I don't care, you know, because again, there's like 20 of them and 2 of you. Like, what are you gonna do? Say no, and then what? Like, do you expect to fight them? And then here comes Henry expecting to fight them, and Henry says no, hits main dude with the stick, gets pushed down, guns are aimed at him. Carol's like, wait, don't do it. Carol throws the ring at him. Then we see this. Judith is talking to Negan, and Judith is basically asking for his help on a math problem. The classic 2 planes are flying and they're going different directions, different speeds. And Negan basically says, I don't want to answer that question because math is supposed to be reflective of real life. And he says, do you ever expect to see 2 planes flying in real life? And she says no, because, you know, it's the apocalypse, you know, planes, commercial airlines aren't exactly up. And he says, so then I'm not going to do that question. That question's dumb. It doesn't make any sense. Like, give me a question that applies to right now. And then she asks him about the people that she brought in. And, you know, she says, oh, you know, they're making them leave. And Negan is like, oh, so what? You want to help them? And she's like, well, yeah, I'm the one who brought him in. And then Negan tells her a story about how he used to bring home stray dogs as a kid. His mom would hate it, and he didn't want to understand. And then one day he brought home a dog that bit all the other dogs, bit the mom. And then he never brought home a stray dog again. And that was supposed to be an analogy to, like, you know, just because a lot of the dogs are nice, every dog is gonna act nice when you're rescuing it, basically. But then once it shows its true colors, all you need is that one dog to show its true colors, and you'll regret everything. And basically saying that, like, all these people that you brought in might seem nice, but it just takes one of them to want to kill everyone and take everything we have for you to deeply regret making the decision of bringing them in. And then Judith is very sassy. Judith is freaking on fire with the comebacks. You know, because she basically says, I don't want to talk to you about this anymore. I only want to talk to you about math, basically, you know. And she's definitely Carl's sister, which I guess technically she kind of isn't, you know, because she's chains or whatever. But throughout this episode, you can definitely tell that she, even though not by blood, she is definitely the son or the daughter of Rick. That was a nice little exchange there. They get into some trouble. A herd is coming. The ladder falls, and Eugene has no choice but to just jump all the way down there. Then we're cut back here, where Henry just doesn't understand why Carl and Carol are so similar. Why Carol didn't refuse to give him the ring, and she says, you know, because it doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? Like, and I was thinking the same thing, where it's just like, there's like a dozen of them, there's 2 of you. Like you had no plan. Your plan was purely emotional. Like, you couldn't have taken them all out. You know, just give them the ring. Like, who cares? You know? And then one thing that I think stung her a little bit was that Henry says that you've gotten soft, basically. Like, old Carol wouldn't have let that happen or whatever. And which is funny, because Henry has not seen the truly old Carol. But yeah. And he storms off because he's mad and whatever. And, yep. Cuts back here. Not much here, just arguing. You know, she doesn't understand. She's like, what do you mean I had this for this? You know what I mean? Like, you know, I had it for protection, you know. And then she was like, you know, we can't just let them kick us out, you know. And then everyone else is basically like, well, okay. Like, I don't want to be kicked out, but what are we going to do? Fight them all? We're going to kill them all? We're going to kill everyone here and take, like, that? Like, no, we're not doing that. We're not the type of people.
Yes, I get a yes.
And she gives away her last hidden knife, basically. We cut back here to the savior group that took their stuff. And yeah, Carol, while they were all sleeping, doused them all in gasoline and set them on fire. And took the ring back. So Savage Carol is back, at least for the moment. Then we're cut back again. to this lady. She has a knife, and she's looking in, and it seems like she was planning to go in there and kill Michonne. But then she sees that Michonne has a little kid, and decides against it. Walks up to her front door, knocks, gives her the knife, and says, "You were right about everything, you know.
It's better than losing everything.
I have done things, and trusting someone you don't know that could hurt your family, and could take everything away from you. You're right, it's probably not the wise thing to do." And then we see Judith up there with Rick's old gun. It's pretty funny. And they have a nice moment of like, Judith says that, she was protecting Michonne, and Michonne is like, "How can you protect me when I'm supposed to be protecting you?" And they go on the whole thing of like, Judith says that, my dad would have been proud of what I did by bringing those people in, and Michonne came back with, "Yeah, you're right. He would have been proud, And right here, it kind of seems like Judith, changed her mind on these people, and then we see the little kid again. It's great. They're running. Eugene is just going to sacrifice himself, and Rosita's like, "No, idiot, you're coming with us," and then she drags him along.
It's okay.
Basically right here, Henry apologized, and then as he was apologizing, he saw that her ring was back, and he kind of infers that, okay, so Carol did go back and get it. Right here is a great fucking moment. We see it, and we're like, "Oh my god." And then it cuts to him, and we see his face, and we see it's Darrow. We're like, "Oh, yes." And Carol asks if he wants a ride, and he smiles and gets on. That's awesome. We haven't seen him smile in a while. This right here is a cause of a lot of theories. There's just a big scar in the shape of an X on Michonne's back. No idea what that's from. Have no idea what that is from. Then we cut to, I think this is the cut to outside, where they're all leaving, and they're all like, "Thank you for everything." They're kind of making jokes, being lighthearted, so they just kind of already accepted the fact that they're leaving, and thanks for everything, and that's great. Thanking Judith because she was really the biggest help, and then Michonne comes and is basically like, "I have someplace I can take you," and we're all pretty much sure that she's talking about the hilltop, which is awesome because one is great because she did soften a little bit. That part right there is great, where Judith was telling her good luck, and the one girl who also knows sign language was trying to show her how to sign good luck, and Judith doesn't quite get it, but they're just like, yeah, sure, it's close, which was a nice, which was very funny. But yeah, and the hilltop is great because we see that she softened a little bit. She was like, "All right, I can't keep you here, but I can bring you someplace that they might be willing to take you in," and we're pretty sure it's Hilltop, which is great because we haven't seen Hilltop yet. That's basically the one group of people that we haven't seen yet that I'm very interested to see how they've developed since the whole Rick thing, with Maggie and Jesus and Enid and other people that I don't quite remember. And then right here we see the thing we saw in the previews where they're running away from the walkers, and one of the walkers speaks and says, "Don't let them get away." Walkers don't usually speak. And yeah, the episode ends. So yeah, that was the recap. That's probably how I'll do it from now on, so I don't have to, so I can actually get everything. Because I don't want to forget anything, and I don't take notes while I watch the episode because I think that would take away from me watching the episode, and then I'll miss stuff while watching it the first time, so I just kind of do this second sped up watch version. I wonder if you can watch it at twice speed. No, you can't. It'd be cool if you could. I would do it that way, watch it at like 4 times speed or something. One of these, I think L actually makes it, oh no, never mind. Well, L is fast forward, but that's not, anyway. So yeah, overall good episode. I mean, before we go to Reddit, as we're going to Reddit, I guess I'll just click Reddit while we're here. Some things that are good. I love that everyone seems to be doing well. They're all prospering in terms of like their communities. Everyone seems to be doing well. There doesn't seem to be a lot of like imminent danger in terms of resources or anything, which is great. They seem to have learned how to do that, respectively between the different communities. The one thing that does seem disappointing is that they don't seem as close to each other as they used to be. They definitely seem like they kind of been isolated from each other, which is sad because I want to see them all together. I mean, I definitely feel like they do have some contact with each other, but they're not like close. They're just kind of neighbors at this point. They're kind of acquaintances at this point instead of friends, which is fine, I mean, once communities get bigger, sometimes it's harder to stay together because now your own little slice of your own little community is bigger than the entire thing was a little while ago. You know what I mean? So, what else? Judith is great. I think Judith is awesome. She can kill. She knows the situation of the world is in. She also seems very, very smart, which again, Rick and Carl, makes complete sense that Judith is smart and knows what's up. She's very quick. She's very witty, which I think is going to be amazing. I love her talking to Negan. I'm not a comic book fan. Well, I like comic books, but I didn't read the Walking Dead comic books. And that was apparently a big storyline that Negan and Carl were having this relationship. So it definitely seems like now that Carl's dead, they're going to make Judith fill that spot and her have this relationship with Negan. Negan's looking great. He doesn't seem like he's trying to kill himself anymore. I'm very interested to see how his character plays out. Michonne seems very tense. She seems very, like, little overprotective and kind of trying to do that for Rick and Carl, but at the same time, like, it's kind of a tough spot, not wanting to bring new people in. It's like, all right, I get it, but then, because like I think both Michonne and Judith were right. Like, Rick would have wanted Judith to save those people, but I also think there's a part of Rick, like the other part of Rick would have been like, no new people, don't bring them in. So it's, because Rick has flip-flopped on that before, where, he's gone from all the way from bring everyone, we can save everyone, there's good in everyone, and then he's also been on spurts of kill everyone on sight. We can't take the chance of this person being bad, you know what I mean? So there's that. Rosita and Gabriel is kind of weird at first, but I'm not mad at it, I mean, people are mad at it, I'm not mad at it. Eugene hurting himself kind of sucks. That's rough. The talking walkers is definitely going to be a thing. Apparently that's related to the whispers, which is going to be the next thing we come up on, so that'll be interesting to see how that plays out. I wonder if Eugene and Rosita heard them say that, and I also wonder how quickly they're going to get back to the people, because right now they're laying in a pile of mud on the side of the road. What else? The X on Michonne's back, I have no idea what that is. I hope that's explained soon. There's kind of a whole thing where, like, they kind of allude to it like 2 or 3 times in this episode, where something happened in those 6 years. Something very big and defining to how they run their communities today. And I'm pretty sure it was negative. Like something bad happened since, like, within those 6 years since Rick died. And people are saying that X has something to do with it. And that also has to do with why Michonne was kind of like, you all know why we don't bring new people in like this, and dangers of trusting new people. Because at first when I heard her say that, I was like, oh, well, yeah, it's just general zombie apocalypse stuff. Like, they've all been through stuff. They've all seen, people turn on the group, or, I mean, we've seen that happen many times, you know what I mean? But no, looking deeper into it and, like, connecting some other dots, it definitely seems like Michonne is talking about a specific event that happened that everyone here knows about because it happened here. Something happened. Some people came in, something. And I think that also has to do with the Whisperers. Michonne's other kid is cool. I completely forgot that Michonne and Rick talked about having a kid. So that kid's got to be like 5 or 6. Probably 5, actually. I'm excited to see what those new people bring. They're apparently going to the hilltop. And so is fuck, I said Carl again. Carol and Henry. So the next episode will definitely probably heavily feature the hilltop. Probably not only the hilltop, but probably heavily feature the hilltop. Because not only those people that I just mentioned, but also I want to see what Carol, no, not Carol. Well, yes, Carol, but Maggie, Jesus, Enid, all those guys are doing with, what's going on with them. Carol's kid, because Carol's kid is probably, I think Carol's kid is only, well, Carol's kid was like what? Like 4, probably? 4? Was Carol's kid like 4? Carol's kid isn't much younger than Judith. Nah, she is. Carol's kid is probably like what, like 8 or 9 maybe? Because Judith is like 12, I think. I don't know, but Maggie's kid is, older. So that'd be cool to see. What else? I think that's it. I can't think of anything else. Yeah. Daryl, I love to see what he's been doing. People had theories that he's like waiting in the water because he's trying to see if Rick became a walker and trying to find Rick's walker, basically. I think that's it. I can't think of any other characters that we didn't see. Or characters that we did see that I haven't mentioned yet. So we're going to go on Reddit. And I'm going to go to the Walking Dead subreddit. And look up other crazy conspiracies or just theories. Looking up the... Yep, show spoiler. Alright. What are people saying? Daryl is probably thinking Rick is a walker. Yes. Oh yeah, he did put Merle out. Remember that? We're supposed to be in the dark, but Michonne X Scar. Yeah. Yeah, they're saying the same thing. I'm guessing that's the reason why people don't let new people in. And some people said this. It's a prison mark. I'm like, a prison mark? Nah. That is something someone said, is that her kidney was removed, and then people said the Whispers or the helicopter group, because they have technology. I mean, they were apparently able to save Rick with whatever they had on the helicopter. Eugene telling Rosie to throw their selects. Yeah, Eugene confessing was pretty funny. Yeah, Carol's the highest kill count. That's true. Carol set people on fire, my dude. I loved when Henry, said that, you're soft and whatever, because like I was thinking, you don't even know what Carol has done. You do not know the savagery that Carol has committed. Tire budget on the CGI bird, that's kind of funny. Looks like a pilgrim, that's kind of funny. The last scene was awesome. Yeah, with the whole like whispers and stuff. I still find it hilarious that the one walkers don't let them get away. Yeah, don't let them get away as they continue to slowly walk. It's pretty funny. I swear I never see this again. I know, yeah, there's a thing. What exactly was this chick MAGA plan on doing? Killing Michonne to prove that she's not dangerous to the rest of the community, using her only knife to rampage to see nothing. Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah, she again, along with Henry, was definitely acting very emotionally. Where it's just like, we can't let them, kick us out. We can't go back. You know what I mean? To being on, to being on the road. You know what I mean? So she just, when you're that scared, and she was scared, your brain goes to weird places to try to fix it. You know what I mean? Carol holds badass. Rick is RJ's dad. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Rick is the dad. Of course he is. Rick and Michonne. First garbage lady, now Rosita. Damn, Gabriel was yeah, that was the whole thing, Gabriel and Rosita. But to be fair, and I saw a lot of people saying that it's too soon. You know, like, we just got kind of used to the idea of Gabriel and Anne getting together, and then they're just going to introduce a new relationship with Gabriel. It's like, yeah, but, like, it's too soon for us because there's a time skip. But for Gabriel, like, it's been 6 years. You know, like, that's not too soon. Oh, yeah, Eugene can fight now. I left that out in the whole scene where they were arguing over whether to bring the people back. Eugene just took out 4 walkers single-handedly. And I was like, damn, Eugene learned. Eugene finally stepped up and became a fighter. That's dope. Yep. What next? Oh, okay. Cool to see. Oh yeah, the whole talking walkers thing. That's, again, I'm pretty sure that's to do with the whispers. And we're probably gonna see that. I mean, we'll probably see a little bit of that in the next episode, and then probably the biggest chunk will be in the episode after that, because that'll be episode 8, and that's the mid-season finale. And then we'll probably see a pretty sizable chunk of it in that episode, only because it'll get us ready for the second half of the season, which I'm sure will focus very heavily on the whispers, because it kind of seems like that's what they're building up to. Yeah, they're definitely using Daryl way better than they have been in the last 2 or 3 seasons. Yeah, I saw a lot of people saying that Michonne was ridiculous. Where, like, just because she went to prison, she's a bad person. And, like, I totally understand that, and I totally agree with you that I don't think just because she was in prison she's a bad person. I definitely don't think that just because they were on the outside we can't trust them. But you have to understand that Michonne's thinking isn't crazy. I mean, yeah, we don't just bring new people in just because we find them. I mean, like, they could be bad. Like, we don't know. And we seem to be prospering, so in a way, why try to fix something if it ain't broken? You know what I mean? But I am also on the side of, they don't seem like bad people. I mean, they were 1000% okay with just being like, all right, I guess they don't want us. We'll see you later. Thank you for everything, So yeah. Some saviors moved to Alexandria, some went rogue. Yeah, that was one thing that I'm not sure if we're going to see more of, because early on in the season there was the whole thing of a lot of saviors still say that they're Negan. Again, it's been 6 years, so I don't know how that's going to play out, but I wonder how many saviors are still just waiting and watching for their time to strike, to be Negan again, to, like, that's kind of a thing that I'm thinking about right now, where it's like, Negan is still trapped. Well, he's still in the cell. I don't know what he would try to do if they said, all right, Negan, you're free. You can stay here if you want. You can leave. I don't know what he would try to do. I don't know if he'd try to exact revenge, or I don't know if he's just like, yeah, sure, you got me. Like, I don't really have any, interesting. I'm still very interested in Negan's character. I want to know where this goes. Murder psychopath. I don't know about that. Oh yeah, that was the thing. They did Maggie so dirty. It's like, well, I don't think they did her dirty. I think that next episode is going to very, very heavily feature the hilltop. Just like to know exactly what happened at camp when Rick and Daryl were in the hole. What do you mean? What happened at camp? Yeah, they got in some kind of gunfight. I remember that. Yeah, it's kind of, like, alluded to, where, like, they got into a fight. Some saviors were like, fuck this, and they just left. And some saviors were like, all right, you got it, and then they joined Alexandria or the hilltop or wherever. You know what I mean? Yeah. That was kind of a question I had too. Where mud, like, weird, but I'm kind of not mad at it, because I think it covers their smell, and they're hidden. I mean, they were down in like a ditch. So I mean, unless the walkers saw them go in there, or they're, you know what I mean. So, the whole blood thing, where like people would the whole blood thing, where like multiple times in this show they put like zombie guts on them. That worked because they were actually walking through crowds of walkers, and that would mask their scent and make them smell like walkers. In this scenario, there's mud, which can mask the scent, but they're also not walking through a crowd of them. Like if they're walking through a crowd of them with just mud on, I'm sure that would only work for like a minute. But since they're also hidden and they're also, you know what I mean, I'm not mad at that. He climbed up the water tower instead of just calling Rosita back up. Wouldn't that have been safer to wait the herd out of all way up there? Yeah, I was gonna say not necessarily. Yeah. So he's saying right here, like, why, instead of Eugene jumping down and like twisting his ankle or whatever, why didn't he just have Rosita climb back up and then just wait on the water tower? But I was kind of thinking the same thing after the episode, when I was kind of like going through the episode in my head again. But I kind of came to the same realization where I'm like, yeah, but like, what if the herd doesn't just go away? What if they just kind of, mingle for a little bit? Then what? You know what I mean? Now you're trapped here. I'm the only one wondering why the hell they took Judith on a run. I mean, they have to take her on a run eventually. I'm wondering why Judith took them on a run. That's actually really funny. Like, no. They didn't bring Judith. Judith brought them. Because she told them she was going. Word. I feel like Judith is the one character in the show where no one can tell her what to do. Like Judith holds all the power over anyone. Like, and definitely because it's Rick's kid. Like, Judith is Judith, I felt like, could say anything and people would just have to go along with it. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, she was on the side of, we're bringing these people in, and everyone else was like, nah, Judith, we can't. And then she was like, no, we're bringing these people in. And then they were like, all right, well, I guess we have to, freaking Michonne was like, I don't know if Rick would want this. And Judith was like, nah, he would have wanted this. And Michonne was like, yeah, you're right, he would have wanted this. You know what I mean? Like, she even like kind of backsass Negan. Like, yo, Judith is the main character of the show now. The music teacher is a solid actor. Yeah, he's pretty good. I like the music teacher a lot. I really like his character. I don't love the other three. I think that the one prison one, she's kind of stereotypical, but I hope that there's some growth and development there. The one high school or previous, like very soon out of high school. Well, not really. I guess it's been 6 years, and then before that. So, the one who described herself as, before all of this, I was in high school. She seems cool. She seems like she's a fun person. She seems like she, knows how to survive. She seems like a real chill person. The other one I think is awesome that they have a deaf person, or mute, or both. I'm not quite sure. That's a really interesting dynamic to throw into the show. It's also crazy, like, she like can't hear walkers coming. Like, it's very interesting to have someone like that in a zombie apocalypse. But the music teacher is definitely my favorite. He's like great. He definitely, I was thinking this when during the episode, he definitely talks like a teacher, which I think is very interesting. So wait, discussion why Rick has not returned in 6 years. Okay, he's dead. Interesting. Well, there's apparently like 3 movies, so I don't think he's dead. Would he be dead? I want Rick to die. I'm not going to talk about this much longer. I wanted Rick to die in that original episode. Doesn't the means to get there. Sidetrack, sure. Crippled. but like how crippled though? And then Amnesia. Amnesia is a very popular one, not in the sense that they wanted, but in the sense that it seems like one that AMC would do. It's very cheap. Oh, he has Amnesia, but ooh, I'm starting to forget their voices. That was rough. All right, I think that's it. Yeah, Henry sucks. Henry right now sucks. He is no Carl. So yeah, I think that's it. And that's it for that. I think that was good. It's a good episode. Can't wait for the next one. I'd love for people in the comments or to tweet at me what their theories are and what's going to happen in the next episode, no matter how small or big the theory is. I'm excited. I think that, like I said, next episode is going to be very heavily feature the Hilltop. Not the whole episode, but I think that at least half of it will be in the Hilltop. Again, probably not like a half straight. It'll probably cut back and forth, but I think at least half the run time of the episode will be at the Hilltop. I think that might also be because there's still a bunch of stuff in the preview, like in the next 3 episodes preview that we haven't seen yet. And I think in the next episode or the last one, I don't know which one, but I'm very excited to see when we see it was Jesus, Aaron, and Daryl, and they're all kind of hiding out, and they're kind of looking down a hill. And we saw like the whole group of walkers just kind of milling about. That's a very interesting scene to me. But yeah, I don't really have a lot of predictions. Next episode, I think is going to very much feature the heavily feature the Hilltop. And yeah, I think other than that, I think the rest of the episode will just kind of be, we might see more of the talking walkers. Maybe Rosita and Eugene heard them, and we'll see them come back and be like, probably talk to Michonne or someone and be like, this crazy fucking thing happened, and I'm pretty sure it happened because both of us remember it, and we heard a walker talk. But yeah, so yeah, it's that episode. Next episode, or it's the next episode 7, and then the final one of the season or mid-season, episode 8. And then we're on break, so yeah. Interested to see what happens next. This episode was fucking awesome though. I liked it. Some people said two time skips in one season. I'm like, in one half season. I'm like, no. Both time skips were done beautifully in my opinion. They were both needed. I was very skeptical of the 6-year time jump, but watching the previews, the 3-episode preview, and then watching this episode, I'm like, I am all the way okay with it. So yeah. This episode went a little longer than I wanted to, but 2 hours is fine, I guess. Whatever. I'm trying to make these episodes shorter, but that is also why I put the time codes on the side. I decided to do that. They're not clickable, but you can just look at the time codes, the timestamps on the side, and pick and choose what topics you listen to. Because not everyone cares about The Walking Dead. Not everyone cares about animation. Not everyone cares about movies. Not everyone cares about other stuff I'm gonna talk about. Music next episode. So. I'd rather give you more content to choose from than little content that you just hate it and you're just like, well, there's not a lot, so this whole episode is trash. This episode could still be trash, but whatever. Yeah. So next episode, again, I'm gonna reiterate for all y'all that stayed with me. Gonna do a little Stanley Memorial type thing. I'm gonna talk about hip hop. For y'all who stayed with me, I'll give you a little bit of extra preview of the hip-hop topic. I'm going to talk about, is there too much hip-hop released nowadays? Is it good? Is there too much? Is there not enough? And is this amount, whether you think it's a lot or little, is it good or bad? Definitely talk about the next episode of Walking Dead. And yeah, maybe one more thing than that. I'm not quite sure. But there we go. Hope y'all have a good rest of your weekend. I forgot I could say that because this comes out on Fridays. Good rest of your weekend, and I'll see you next time. Come back for episode 3.